our events, wait till you hear about today, because today we have a grand mutable cross. So when we have energy in opposition and squares, that means there is a lot of confusion. There's an inability to concentrate and maintain focus. You probably won't communicate effectively at all, since Mercury is involved in this mutable cross. Your thoughts are going to be scattered. Your energy is going to be scattered. I feel like you're just, it's like you just like a big pail of water just dumped all over your clay again after you were trying to mold it into something, and it just saturated it completely and it went bleh. And so now you don't even know what to do with it. I feel like that's the kind of energy that I'm connecting to. So today, mental instability will be compounded. When you get a mutable cross like this, and it is all day, the immutable energies that are involved are the Moon, Jupiter, Saturn, and Mercury. So there is no control. I think is what's more important to understand about this type of energy, because Saturn is involved in this mutable cross. Jupiter is going to expand whatever instability is out there. And it's also going to make you want to head for the hills. It's going to make you want to find a very quick resolution to things, but you are not going to be able to maintain focus. I mean, what you're going to want to do is get everything under control because of Jupiter being in Virgo. But the more you try to control it, the more it gets out of control. I deeply feel for some of you. Emotional issues are going to be expanded big time, especially those of you that have mutable energy. But more importantly, for those of you that have a sense of duality in you at all, a sense of indecision, you may, for some of you that you don't have the focus that you should, it's going to be compounded today. So your emotions, it's going to be in this dual energy, and it's going to be squaring Jupiter. It's going to be squaring Mercury. So your thoughts and your emotions will be uncontrollable, and maybe either be extremely optimistic and unrealistic, or pessimistic, and you just get completely depressed for no reason. And that's just because there's just this wave of instability that seeps into you if you're really, really sensitive to energy. Anxiety and panic attacks will increase for some of you that are falling into the squaring energy, which is going to be impossible for you to avoid. If you suffer from panic attacks when energy gets unstable, then today is the day to find your triggers and to find a way to calm yourself down, and not want to bolt. You don't want to get that fight or flight response, and just the flight is you go toward a poor coping method. That's very, very possible in this energy. Saturn will square Jupiter and Mercury to add to the confusion. Jupiter opposes Mercury, so Pisces and Virgo energy are also in polar opposites. So you can see the duality. You can see, there's not a portion of it that is not in an opposite or an extreme opposite. You may feel compelled to escape your responsibilities, but then there is some accountability or something that you need to get a hold of, but you can't seem to. What I think this is more importantly going to set the basis of is we're in between this eclipse season. We're in between that solar eclipse and that lunar eclipse. And so I think when we get this mutable cross, I think it's a very fated timing. And the reason I say that is because I think it just really deeply clarifies where we're unstable, where our thoughts where we need to gather our thoughts and direct our thoughts. So if an area in your life just, goes crazy in this energy, then I suggest that's just a signal, an arrow pointing to take care of this area, because that is going to have something to do with the cumulative energy that's coming up in the lunar eclipse. So you're going to be plagued with inconsistency on this day in your mind. More importantly, you're not going to interpret things correctly. If somebody tries to talk to you, perhaps they're not going to say it effectively, or you're not going to interpret what they say, especially if you're having any sort of insecurities at all, or if this energy is making you feel unstable. You're going to interpret it like somebody is trying to do something to you, when in fact, there's just no clarity. And so I wouldn't even try to decipher anything this day. And I wouldn't hold anybody accountable for what comes up today, because it's just a day of chaos for everybody. A frustration and an inability to communicate effectively will increase hypersensitivity. That's very important for you to understand. So here's what I think is very important to understand about today. It's a very cosmic, fated blessing of a day, even though it's going to be caught in extremes and caught in this mutable cross, which is probably one of the most difficult grand crosses that you can experience. One thing that I am very fascinated by is that Jupiter at this point right now is in conjunct with the North Node, and it is opposing Neptune, the Sun, Mercury, and Chiron all day. I deeply believe this is going to pull out, I think, where we're inconsistent in general. I think where we are scattered, where we don't have the ability to focus. I believe that this is a signal for us to pay attention to those things, because where we're trying to head to is away from Piscean energy that allows us to escape and to rationalize and to, idealize and to just not want to deal with these inconsistencies in our lives, because the reality checks are shocking and you would rather just escape and not deal with them. The accountability in this is beautiful, because we're trying to strive for better routines, better health habits, better work habits. We're trying to strive for dedicating our time to ourselves and equally at work. So we're trying to strive for balance. We have had a lot of instability, and we have not lived very balanced lives. We've lived very extreme lives. And so we've got to start to work out still all of these extremes. Like, where are we still extreme? Where are we lost? Where are we not directional? And I think this energy helps guide you. And I really deeply believe there's a blessing under this negativity. There's a silver lining to every cloud. I completely believe it. Even if you look back on your life and it was a tragic moment in your life, I believe that even you can see at some point that you got stronger, or that it helped you understand what you needed to, what you considered as important in your life, and what like people who go through extreme losses, all of a sudden they really deeply value the relationships in their life, because they know that life is fleeting. So in every ending, there is a beautiful, beautiful beginning, but we're working up toward an ending, an accumulative energy. And so I believe that what comes up today is a very good idea. We don't often get this arrow right before the lunar eclipse. I often find that the eclipses just come in, take something out of my life, eclipse out something, and then I'm screwed, because I didn't see it coming, because I love to stay in my Neptunian world in my mind, where I just believe everything is rosy. I don't like to face things. I love that we're getting an arrow that says, pay attention here, because this is where you might experience that ending, and it's soothing you into the accumulative energy versus shocking you into it, and it seems like you just lose your footing, and you have to have these extremes. We're not having these extremes anymore, even though it's going to feel like that. I promise you, this is actually a blessing if you look at it the right way.